How's everyone doing out there? I'm your host, Joey Pucks. Before we get into today's video, just a quick reminder to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. You'll find links in the video description below. Info is on your screen right now. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. There's an icon in the lower right-hand corner of your screen you can use to subscribe. Also a link in the video description below. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. In today's video, I'll be going over my current 1886 rifle build. Admittedly, this is still a work in progress, okay? It's subject to change. To the extent that it does, I'll make a future video that indicates what I've changed. This is by no means optimized or min-maxed. It's where I am presently. It's been fun to use the 1886 in different content of the game presently, so I figured I would share it with you and just review it. And maybe you take something and apply it to your own build, whatever. So let me start by just confirming that you might suspect I am using the Sharpshooter specialty class. All right, and this is going to give me a few things, one of which is the increased reload speed, very small magazine, so I want the quick reload, increased headshot damage, all right, and increased rifle damage. So I've maxed those out here in the specialty skill tree. So Sharpshooter, no surprise there. Getting into the rest of the build. Okay, this is built around the 1886 rifle. I have, I suppose, an okay roll on this. Ranger I like, all right. I've got stability and cannon. Those last two could be better, frankly. I mean, stability doesn't really do much for me given I have the Sharpshooter class on already. But nevertheless, I do have Ranger to bump up my damage. I'm supplementing this with a Vector SBR 9mm. And I selected this one basically because it has the build itself has 5 offensive attributes, which means Optimist is in play and is active, so I've got that. I also got a roll with plus 20% magazine capacity, and therefore I've got 63 rounds in the magazine, so it's pretty useful. It pairs nicely with the 1886. My Police 686 Magnum, the revolver, just to keep the sort of Wild West theme here, if you will. And I'm really using this one mostly because it has greased as the holstered talent. Okay, so weapon swap speed increased by 10%. I like that on my sidearms. Getting into the rest of the build, let's start off here with the mask. So I've got Sokolov on this one. It gives me the SMG damage. And I didn't want to necessarily not give my secondary weapon a little bit of juice here, so that's why I've got the SMG damage on. I've got damage to elites, which I like. I've got hard hitting, more damage to elites, so that's the thinking behind that one. Switching over to the vest, here is where I have gone with Overlord for a couple of reasons, and I'll explain them now. The first is plus 10% rifle damage. That's great. I'm using the 1886. I also am going to get the second perk to be active here, and that's plus total armor. All right, and this is important because I am using Unstoppable Force, which is going to give me 2% weapon damage for every 10,000 max armor once I kill an enemy. All right, so I want to increase my total armor. Right now I'm at 245 or so, and you do the math. You see I'm going to get bonus damage. I've got health attribute on this one, headshot damage, weapon damage. I like weapon damage, headshot damage because it's a rifle. Try to be accurate, get the extra damage here, okay? Onto the holster, Airaldi. All right, here, can't use the offense, starting from the bottom actually, can't really use the offensive weapon slot here, right? Because I want to stay 5 or lower on the offensive attributes. So I've gone with accuracy, headshot damage. I have another Airaldi piece going, and plus 21, almost 22,000 in health. Blue attribute gets me what I need in terms of Unstoppable Force. All right, so again, this is not the most optimal build that you could come up with to build around the 1886. It's what I have currently, sort of the best of what I have. So take this with that in mind, okay? Moving over to the backpack. Gila guard. Again, trying to get as much armor as possible, plus 5% here. I also have plus 6,600 or so bonus armor as one of my attributes. Okay, trying to jack that armor up, get unstoppable force, so I get the maximum amount of damage that I possibly can. I'm also running Hardened as one of my talents. It's a passive talent. It gives me plus 10% armor. Again, get the armor up. Okay, and then the Efficient as my active talent here. Doesn't do a ton, but you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. Here I'm running a defensive mod that gives me more bonus armor. Again, get that armor level up. Okay, the other two are they really don't do anything for me in this particular case, but I wanted the bonus armor. Again, can't use the offensive one. So another example of how this isn't perfectly min-maxed, but you can sort of see and understand the mentality that I'm using here as I construct the build. Moving on to the gloves, another Airaldi piece. Here's where I think I used this piece on one of my other builds where I'm using an SMG. Gives me plus SMG damage. Again, only 5 rounds in the 1886. Okay, you can get up to 6 with those perks that give you plus 20% in the magazine, but that's not really a deal breaker for me. So only 5 rounds in the magazine. Okay, I can't totally, at least in my opinion, I can't totally forsake my secondary weapon, which in this case is an SMG. It's the Vector, so I'm going to give myself some SMG damage. I've got Devastating as the talent, so I'm getting plus 5% weapon damage, so not the worst roll possible. Could be better, could be worse. Okay, and again, because this is my second Airaldi piece, I'm getting the plus 10% headshot damage, which is something that I should be able to take advantage of given the single shot nature of the weapon. Moving on to the Kneepads. Overlord, second piece, more total armor, bonus armor as the attribute, hard hitting damage to elites. Again, here I'm gearing towards some of the higher end content, challenging, the heroic missions where you're going to be encountering yellow bar enemies, want to jack up your hard hitting, want to jack up your damage to elites. Okay. And again, on the offensive mod slot, which goes unused in this case, another example, this isn't an optimal build, but I never said that it was. In fact, I said it wasn't. So, can't take advantage of that necessarily for using Optimist. If I used a different perk on my weapons, I could take advantage of those. For example, if I use Preservation, rolled a SMG with Preservation, that'd be a little bit of a different story. Sticking with the same 2 skills that I usually use, I've got my Fixer Drone for healing and my Oxidizer Chem Launcher. And that is pretty much it. Okay, if we take a look, I suppose, at the underlying stats, here are my gear talents. You see what I've got going on there. My weapon talents. I scroll down here. This is with the 1886 equipped. Again, 101% headshot damage. Okay, getting the 13% all weapons damage bonus and 19% on the SMG, which be stagnant. 27% rifle damage, 49% damage to elites. I'm going to tick along here. Okay, so how do I use this in practice? That's a fair question. So sure, you can get kills with the 1886 rifle, even though it only has 5 magazines. But what I have found myself doing is using the Vector, my SMG, get an initial kill. I mean, look at this thing. 63 in the magazine. It's got Optimist. Or that easy kill, that procs unstoppable force. I'm getting, if we do the math here, 2% for every, let's just call it 240,000. Right, so that's 24 times 2, 48%. Then I switch to the 1886 and use that to do work and take advantage of the perks or the talents that I've got running, including Unstoppable Force, including my bonus headshot damage that I'm getting from the different gear pieces that I have on, for example, taking advantage of my rifle damage on my chest piece. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you found this video somewhat helpful. Maybe it informs the way that you approach your builds. subject to change as better pieces become available. I'm kind of making the best of what I presently have just to kind of get the build out there. And yeah, we'll see what happens in a couple of weeks anyway when they update the game. Title update, I think it's 1.3, and everything gets thrown out the window and we have to start all over from scratch. So we'll see what happens. So don't forget, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. Check me out and follow. Here on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like and comment on this video. Let me know what you're thinking, what builds you are enjoying presently, and I will see you next time. Peace.